Hi everybody. This is Kara. I haven't really been around for a while. I've been going through disclaimer. I'm going to be swearing a shitload of shit. This is going to be a vlog. I have a couple things I'm going to be talking about. One of them is going to be how and when and the process of my diagnosis. And another thing is going to be some of the stuff that comes with it, in my case anyways. Sorry if you hear any background noise. My boyfriend's home right now and he's watching a car show, so he's got it pretty loud. Anyways, I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with when and how I got my diagnosis. So obviously, I was diagnosed with depression, as you know, most teenagers are. That's just, what they do. Anyways, I was diagnosed with depression. I think I was 14, and I started taking antidepressants. Now, don't make this in any way make you feel like taking them are bad for you, but they're not good for me. Anyways, I took them for a couple years, and I was trying to tell myself that they were helping, but they weren't. It wasn't just depression. It was, I was getting out of bed. It was just, the anger and the rage, and a lot of self-harm started. I was starting fights with people, things like that. So I had known since I was a lot younger that there was a lot of stuff plaguing me. So the way I got into the diagnosis process, it took a long time. Not that I wanted to have a diagnosis, but I wanted an answer. I know there's some of you out there right now that are in that phase of not knowing. But I'm actually going to say now that even though I have diagnoses, I still have a lot of questions unanswered, and I feel like there's some days when I just gotta let it go. And if we really get into it, we could have all the illnesses in the DSM, if they really wanted to. A lot of the illnesses in there can relate to almost anybody. That's the thing about it. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I guess how it started was I was living in Ontario, and I already started pretty much the same cycle in my relationship that I had had over and over and over and over before that. It started usually just with being completely dependent on my partner, pretty much giving him full control. I started drinking a lot. I started missing a lot of work, and I became depressed. I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to, and then the anger took over, and I started hurting myself. I was talking to my mom, and I guess my middle sister got diagnosed with, I'd never heard of borderline personality disorder before, and I was kind of shocked when my mom was going over, she does this and she does that and she does this and that, and there's a lot of stuff that I had done that I had never ever talked to my mother about, because first of all, I know right off I would have been completely dismissed and invalidated, but I didn't think she'd believe me. And in the back of my mind, I thought, you know what, it's my crap to deal with, not anybody else's. So she's going over the symptoms with me that, my sister's struggling with and stuff. And I told her, that's me. That is me. That is what I do. That is how I've been. We have different traits that are stronger and weaker than each other. We're not exactly the same, and nobody with any kind of illness is exactly the same. But there was major similarities, and so I'd already had that in the back of my mind anyways, and I kept going on saying that I was fine and I was happy and I was good, and I wasn't. I'm very good at wearing my mask. It kind of feels uncomfortable not to wear it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just talking obviously not literally a mask. It's just the happy face you put on for everybody, and it's scary showing people on the outside what you feel like on the inside. So, you suck it up, buttercup. So what happened was, I kept going on, fighting to keep my job. I smartened up a little bit. I tried my best. I did look more into the disorder, obviously, and I figured out, there could be ways, regardless if I have it or not, these coping skills might help me. And everything kind of just spiraled out of control from there, and I ended up in the psych ward for trying to attempt suicide. So, I'm trying to think of what happened. I actually, what I ended up doing was, I got brought in by the cops to the hospital. This was the first time I was there. And so I got brought in by the cops, and we waited there for about 5 hours in a hallway. And they sat there, and I wasn't allowed to go out anywhere, do anything. They had to come with me to the bathroom, everything like that. And I ended up going in and talking to a psychologist, I think it was, for 10 minutes. She asked me if I felt safe to go home, and of course I said yes, I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there. So I went home. That was it. Okay. So I'm filled with guilt and shame, and I'm so mad at myself. This is a cycle that constantly repeats. And so my ex-fiance at the time, he decided to take it upon himself to be Mr. Perfect, and I was the one who was screwed up, and kind of just went from there. So obviously I didn't feel any better about anything. So I started getting physical with him. I would make him hurt me. And if you're wondering how that happens, I got to the point where I was jumping on the front of his body and pulling him on top of me onto the floor until I tore the tendon in my shoulder. I'm very self-destructive that way. The last thing I want to do is hurt anybody else. So really that was a huge red flag for me, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I asked him if he could take me to the hospital, and he said no. He said that if I wanted to go, I had to go by myself, so I did. There's the abandonment. So he actually made me a lot worse, I can say that. I took a cab to the hospital. I told him what had happened, and I didn't say anything about my shoulder. I just kind of held it close to my body, and it didn't hurt at the time. I had too much adrenaline pumping through my body, and I couldn't feel it. I waited there. I fell asleep in the waiting room. They ended up calling my name, and I went and I talked to a psychiatrist. And I was in there for 10 minutes. I had told him already that I knew what BPD was, and that I had a family member with it. So he said, okay, that's what you got. And on one hand, I was pissed because I was thinking, you don't care. This is like, and then it made me question, like, I don't want to have this. I actually have this label now. On one hand, it gives me an answer and gives me something to work on and start from. And the more I understand, the better I can work on things. I'm a fixer, big time. And, but on the other hand, yeah, I felt sick to my stomach, and I felt like a failure. I still do most days. It's just kind of something that comes with the territory, I think. I guess I can say now, I'm just going to come out and say it, that I have relapsed into my self-destructive behaviors. And I want to let anybody out there know that right after it had happened, this is a couple of days ago, I kept saying to my boyfriend, all of this therapy, all of this work, and it feels like it's not worth anything. And it made a lot of sense what he said, and it's something I already knew. I thought it is going to happen because it takes a long time and a lot of work, and it's every day. It's a day by day. It's a lot of work. So I know there's a couple girls out there that are wondering that, it sounds a lot like them, and maybe it's something they should look into. I by no means would say no. I mean, you don't want to leave yourself stuck with something that, you can't figure out. It's a terrible feeling. But just be prepared to work your ass off. I have to say, like, I've only done maybe 4 months of therapy, but the amount of work that I've put in so far, I have to say that I'm a lot better. I am a lot better, but the relapses are going to happen, and I think a lot of it is learning how to forgive yourself, and I guess trying to figure out a way to find somewhere to vent the emotions. I tend to bottle things up. I have a hard time knowing what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, because a lot of the times I'm numb. I'm very, very numb. I am, I have a tendency of avoiding things because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to do that. I don't want to cope that way or this way. But, I mean, unfortunately, I really think that it's one of the major ways to learn about yourself, why you do what you do and how you can fix it. And it's going to take a few years. It's not, it's not a lifelong thing. They used to think that about it, but, I think a lot of it is just you get really tired of being strong. You really do. I try to be strong, especially with my other channel going on and stuff. And so many people are telling me I'm helping them. And I think, how can I help these people if I can't help myself? But it's day by day, and learning how to soothe yourself, I guess, is one of a starting point. So that's my vlog for now. I might come back and do another one. Love you guys. Bye.